I realized on my bike ride today that a lot of my dreams have come true in Amsterdam, such as the one that came true for me today.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you ask, what was your dream?
Oh, do you think Amsterdam is the city of dreams?
For me, definitely.
Okay, what was the dream? What happened
The
today?
dream that was fulfilled today was that I was an extra in a movie,
Whoa, what was the movie about?
a Johan Cruyff's life.
You were in a documentary about, or like
I don't think it's a documentary. I think it's a movie.
a biopic about the greatest Amsterdamer
Ye-
ever?
yeah, and I met a guy who does this semi-frequently as a hobby, and I told him
What,
about
his
like,
hobby is being extras in movies?
yeah,
Oh,
because he's like, might as well do a hobby that gets you paid, right?
right.
And it's better than sitting in bed all day. And I told him that if I wanted to take one thing out of this was that I wanted to be able to see myself on screen.
Mm.
Albeit when I said this, I thought it might be a bit far fetched, but just was just saying it. And he's like, yeah, that's my goal too. So he was like, just following my lead. So at one point, where it's just sitting in the background and someone calls out like, who wants to be like dancers? Because we're acting as hippie festival goers.
Mm.
And he's like, I'm gonna dance. And he's like, will you dance with me? And I'm like, yeah. And then we stand up and we move to the side and we dance. And he's like, I said I wanted to dance because the dancers get seen. And
Mm.
he was like, watch how they told us to move in a certain way, like move to the side a certain way. That means that they're seeing it in the shot and they're needing you to move. So therefore, you definitely know you've been seen. And I asked him, oh,
Did
have
you
you?
look directly at Wait? Did you ever look directly at the
Of
camera?
course not. I'm not
Okay.
a noob.
I hate when people do that. I see, and I notice it in
They
front of
also did
my
warn
eyes.
us about that too, like
Yeah.
not do
Okay.
that. And he was like, I asked him if he's ever seen himself on screen. He's like, yeah, multiple times. Because I do things like this and I
What
get
movies
myself
has
seen.
he been in?
He showed
I
me this
also.
one commercial he was in that he actually like starred in. It was one of those just silly ones that you see for like a bank or something, of a man just going
I don't
in.
think I see ads anymore.
Yeah.
No one watches TV, like actual TV.
Yeah, but he says it plays quite a bit in the Pathé before the
Oh,
movie starts, and he's like his children seen him there before and pretty cool. So anyways,
oh.
made a dream come true.
Wait, I
I'm
have
gonna
so many more questions.
show all my friends this when it comes out.
Did you see Johan Cruyff's character?
Do you know what? So this whole thing was in Dutch. Um, and I read the little script, and unless they've got like nicknames, I'm not sure. But maybe. Maybe. There's a guy that I guess kind of looked like him, possibly.
Mm.
I don't know. Super interesting.
What even is the hip?
They're
Wait,
so
was he
weird.
a hippie?
Well, it was the 70s, you know? We were at
Uh,
a hippie festival.
so was this like his early life before he started playing football or during his career?
No idea. There
Okay.
were all the
You know.
people there seemed to be around maybe like 20s to 30s, so
Mhm.
that's the crowd.
Okay, that's interesting. Speak on the, I guess, subject of dreams. So you were talking about a movie about chasing your dreams. Dead Poet Society. It's one of those movies where, yeah, like it's on those lists of movies you need to watch before you die type of stuff. It's a pretty
Mhm.
old movie. I think it was in the 90s.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. January 19th, 1990. And the star is Robin Williams. And he was in a lot of movies around the time. So it's not a movie you're going to be watching for the aesthetic of it. I mean, unless you're into that kind of aesthetic,
Yeah,
it's more for the story and kind of the lessons learned, which
right.
I notice is not, I mean, I don't think there are many movies these days about that. I feel like maybe it's that and something else, or something else carries it more than just the the lessons learned.
Do you know why? I think it's because this movie already then was ahead of its time, and that was the thing that set the bar, the thing that if people did now, it would be probably be considered cliche. So I think this was the
Um,
original that
yeah, because I was
came out.
thinking like
Yeah,
all the big hitter movies recently, like Challengers, like Oppenheimer. I mean, sure, you still have like the Barbies that still like kind of have a message or like some political
mm.
commentary. Even then, this movie I don't think was about political commentary. Then again, I don't have the
It was
context.
a little bit of one. I feel like I don't know
I
much about
guess
the
the
time, but
yeah,
I think
I can
that
imagine.
this was meant to be sort of an eye opener for parents of
Probably,
yeah.
probably.
So I think it was the first of its kind when it came out. But if you watch it now, I think a lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh, that's kind of cliche. Oh, that's kind of
Yeah.
predictable,"
But
or
piggybacking off of
something.
a hippie era where like everyone was told to be expressive. I guess the last thing out of perspective was another movie where like maybe it was just such a hard switch from the hippie era to like the 90s where I guess everyone was like do math and science
Mm,
or else. Anyways, let me summarize the movie. So there's this all boys school where like basically if you're in that school and you do everything right, you're guaranteed an Ivy League for your university studies, and then you're probably gonna go on to be a super successful businessman or like whatever.
doctor, lawyer,
Yeah,
yeah, one of those.
one of those. And it's set up that way. And then when we're introduced to like the world of the movie, there's a new teacher who's an alumni of the school. His name is John Keating. Everyone calls him Captain O Captain. It's a joke in the movie. You should watch it if you haven't already. So Captain O Captain is introduced as a new English teacher, and he teaches a poetry class to this group of boys. And basically, he kind of shake shakes things up. He tries to teach them to be free thinkers and not to be living by the book and like walking the straight and narrow, and to think for yourselves and not what your parents want you to do, all that kind of stuff. And he introduces them to that poet society, which was like an after school club. He found it with his friends, and they were like kind of the cool kids, I guess, because they'd read each other poetry, and all this stuff that doesn't seem real, because but that's the kind of school that they're in. And this new class of boys kind of take a liking to Mr. Keating and restart this Dead Poet Society. And then yeah, so they start having meetings, they read each other poems, they start being more in tune with their feelings and what they actually want to do. One of them starts getting into girls because it's an all boys school, so you never see a girl. But then he starts like liking girls, and then this other guy starts rebelling against his parents to start doing poetry, not poetry, theater. And then in the end, his parents double down and try to like make him stop theater. He doesn't agree with it, and he feels like if he's not allowed to do theater, his life is not worth living, and so he commits suicide. And the movie takes a really dark turn because there are like after watching it, you'll see the elements of foreshadowing, but watching it, I don't think, well, I didn't really think that was gonna happen at all. I thought at the very least, like there'd be like a resolution, right? He'd be like, "No, Dad, see, theater can be good," or something like that.
Yeah.
But no, it's just like I guess a harsh reality of what can happen in these types of situations. And then it ends with like everyone standing on a table and shouting Mr. Keating's name or something. Very as wholesome as can be given what had just happened in the movie. But Sabrina, why do you want to talk about this movie?
You were the one that
Yeah,
suggested
but
this.
I I feel like I've been talking long enough.
Sure, I'll introduce the idea. So we're here today to discuss the concept of free thinking, right? And
Mhm,
free thinkers. And supposedly when they all stood up on their desk and they yelled, "Oh, Captain, my Captain," to the recently fired Mr. Keating, that's when they became free thinkers, right?
mhm.
So we're here to
Kinda talk
discuss
about
this
what that
idea.
means.
Yeah,
Yeah. How
carpe
that's
diem,
yeah.
seize the day.
Right. So, yeah, let's talk about carpe diem and how yeah, what does that mean? What does carpe diem mean to you?
To seize the day,
Yeah.
I don't know what it means practically. It's to make the day yours, right? It's
Mhm.
like don't let life pass you. Be the one
Right.
in control. Be the
Be
one in the
proactive kinda
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
And that was the first lesson he teaches,
yeah.
Mr. Keating teaches the boys, right? Is to live every day like it's your last, basically.
In a way,
Kind
yeah.
of thing. Yeah. Do what you want to do. And I can understand how that's a problematic way of thinking for 14, 15-year-old boys in an old boys school, right? I feel like unless you possess a very high level of maturity, what you're gonna take from that is just, oh, I'm not gonna do my homework and I'm just gonna smoke cigarettes because that was the thing at the time, and slack off with my friends. But I don't think any of the movie characters do that, or maybe it's just the way Mr. Keating teaches it to them is
Right.
like to look within and like figure out something you find passion in. Which I mean, yeah, that's something you can do today still. What is something you do that makes you seize the day? That you think helps you to seize the day?
You
And
see, a big point he brought up in the movie was there's a right way of going about it and a wrong way.
mm,
Remember that whole speech he gave that one student that's broadcasted the day Dead Poet Society on the newsletter. Do you remember what
mm.
he said? It's slipping my mind now.
Oh, to not about the sucking the bone, sucking the marrow, sucking
The
the
Baron
life,
of
the
Light.
marrow. Yeah. Wait, let me find it real quick.
Yeah, I'd like to too. What was that student's name? Oh, Charlie.
No, where is it? Yeah, sucking the marrow of life doesn't mean choking on the bone.
Yeah. So there's a right way of doing it.
Mm. Yeah, okay. I guess what he's trying to say is to not be too aggressive with it, or like within reason, right? I think he's trying to
Yeah.
tell you to do it within reason.
I mean, if you lived every day as if it were your last, you'd probably quote unquote enjoy life a little bit too much. You
Mm-hmm.
might blow all your money, make stupid
Hmm.
decisions, and
And that would
that's
be
not what it's
choking on
about.
the.
Yeah. It's about like at the end of the day, be happy with the day and, be so happy you could die. I think that's it. What's season of the day for you? Do you
I
feel like you
think
seized today?
did I seize today? I did everything that I wanted to do, but I don't know. Was it like everything that I wanted to do, or everything that I had to do within the structured life that is being a university
Mm,
student in this city? You know,
yeah.
like I went to the gym. I went to pick up a package because I had to. I did groceries because I had to. Did I do anything that I would find passion in? I don't know, but I don't think it's something. I don't know. Is it practical to do that every day? I feel like some days
Also thinking about that.
you just kind of have to do what your responsibilities need you to do, right? I think today was one of those days. It's a Monday. You just kind of gotta get started, you know. I think I seize the day in most of my other days. I section out time to do what I think I find passion in, you know,
Mm.
working on my projects, doing other stuff. I think I could seize it more. Like I think I've been developing a passion for film. Maybe seizing the day would be writing more critically about the films that I watch, or like recording a little short film, or even if it's just like an abstract video of my surroundings. That would be probably more seeing the day. I feel like that's what the movie tries to get you to think towards, where it's like life isn't all math and science, but also the art. And there's a quote from the movie where he says, by he, I mean Mr. Keating, talks about, oh, yes, and medicine, law, business, engineering. These are noble pursuits and necessary to sustain life. But poetry, beauty, romance, love, these are what we stay alive for. And he tells this to the boys, kind of, again, given that this is a school where you're gearing up towards medicine, law, he's saying that these are other things that you should not neglect. In fact, these are the things that are the most important to be alive for, right? So that's kind of the way the movie pushed me
Yeah.
to find something creative, a creative outlet to enjoy, to give me reason, or kind of give me an escape from the daily grind of trying to be an engineer. Yeah.
But that's the bone. That's exactly the bone I have to pick with this concept
Mhm.
because it implies so strongly that seizing the day and fulfilling your dreams is not the path that you want to do. The doctor, the lawyer.
Mm.
It's the poetry, the romance, the creative side of things, the what do they say? Like the pleasures of life, I
Mhm.
guess. And that's what I've got beef with that.
Yeah.
I don't think that's entirely accurate. I don't think everyone has this deep-seated desire to be an artist, and only when they fulfill that is their dreams realized.
Mm, I think you can make art with science. I think, again, given the context, like a high schooler or like, yeah, they're in high school. Like, sure, like you might want to be a doctor or, but is that what you really want? Is that what you've been kind of or like built for,
Mm.
right? Throughout your life. I feel like maybe that's what he's trying to touch on. The fact that you've probably been molded in a certain way where you think you want to be a doctor and that's your life's goal, but I want you to be a free thinker and think outside of that box. And I guess he's hoping that you realize that, okay, maybe not just being a doctor is my life's calling. Maybe
Mm.
I can be a doctor who paints on the side, or like maybe basically like appreciating life outside of your occupation that you've most likely been molded for your whole life. I think I share that sentiment with like since I was like 11, I think I've been like molded for programming stuff because I think when was I 11? Like what, 2012, 13? And that was kind of at technically the beginning of the software boom. And my dad saw that and basically like was like, from now on, you're gonna learn how to code from the internet. And so when I got to like high school and like picking a career path and like thinking about these things, I was like, oh, no brainer. I want to do something related to programming, right? But then being a free thinker, you kind of realize, okay, maybe life is not all about this one thing. Maybe film, maybe painting, maybe acting, maybe cooking, maybe creating machines. That could also be art, right?
I'm the opposite.
Hmm.
My whole life, it was entirely towards art and music. My whole life, I was built towards that. A lot of money was put into it, a lot of time, a lot of passion and enjoyment. But I knew that for me, at least, it wasn't practical to take further.
Mm.
So then I veered towards something I also enjoyed. I enjoyed programming and I still enjoyed the art, which is why I'm where I am now. And I guess maybe that's the issue I have with this is that I don't want to believe that my true fulfillment would be to go back to that because
Mm.
I think it would be a very difficult life for a very long time to
Yeah.
have. And, end of the day, I wouldn't even know if that scratched the itch
Mm.
that's hypothetically there.
I guess maybe what we should take from it is that it's good to have that as a hobby. I think the main reason or the main conflict of the movie was that the main character wasn't allowed to have it even as a hobby, right? Because he had so many other extracurriculars that his dad didn't allow him to take it as a hobby, even though he told his dad that I can handle it. I have always have this. Allow me this one thing, right? I guess maybe the point is to have a creative outlet. It doesn't have to be like your job. You don't have to make it a career. You can still be a doctor and have a creative outlet. If you, yeah. So maybe like you don't have to like I guess the whole thing is you're not being forced to fulfill a certain destiny that might not even be yours, you know? Just think freely. That was the whole that was his whole lesson plan was to get the boys to think freely. Do you think freely or are you confined?
I don't even think those boys think freely. I think those boys just mimic what he thinks.
Yeah. But I think that's he noticed that and he started to try to fix that. Or at least I don't think all of them did. Like there was that one guy that like when they were doing the
The poetry reading?
not the poetry reading, the walking,
Right.
and he was like, "I'll exercise my right
Yeah.
to yeah." Because everyone else was obviously you do what the teacher says, but I guess he got it more than the others, where he's always like a little bit outside the box, which I found cool.
But as long as you have a reason for what you're doing it right.
Yeah.
It's better than not having it and to question why you're doing what you're doing to come to that reason.
Hmm. I think
Yeah.
it is a balance. I don't think you can be fully. It can fully be a free thinker, at least not in today's world. There needs to be some sort of conformity. You need to conform to a specific thing, at least like a little bit.
I mean, what is Einstein had always said the quickest to adapt are the ones with like the highest survival chances, isn't it?
Mm,
And you've got to adapt till you have the facilities and the faculties to do what you want, right?
mhm.
Hmm.
Okay. What do you think about the idea of friendship in the movie? How do you think the movie did on that? Because they were kind of all influencing each other in a way.
This movie really hit quite close to home just because I've been in that school like
Mm,
exactly, and not just one. I've been in three of those schools with the school uniform, with the do or die mentality.
mhm,
Obviously, not to the extent that like these boys have, but everything was such a stark reminder. I I don't know. There was a loyalty there that was admirable. That
mhm.
you'd want, an unconditional love and support that did exist. What do you think about it? Such an interesting question. It kind of took me off guard.
Yeah. No, I think like for there was this one guy, I don't know his name, but he was like quiet, very quiet.
Todd?
Todd. I was thinking Todd, but yeah. And I like how like they kind of helped him get out of his shell. I think in a lot of situations, he'd probably be the one that gets bullied, right?
Right. If
I
it
can
weren't for
resonate
Neil.
With Todd. I think in like my early years, I was the quiet. At least like when you first move to school, you're always gonna be the quiet kid, right? And
Yeah.
then it's always nice when I guess the more established guys kind of take you under their wing and influence you in this case the right way, right? To and kind of bring you out of your shell. I think that's something that has happened to me, and so I kind of appreciated that aspect of the movie where like you do need like a society around you to kind of help you reach your best, right? It's not something you can do alone. Is what I took from that.
To me, there's a line, and I think Neil went about it in the right way, but he definitely was pushing it because some people just don't want that,
Mhm.
and pushing it would just make it worse. And I think that's a big thing now is that you don't want to cross boundaries in
Mhm.
our day to day now. But this movie clearly had it was like this guy Neil just was convinced that it was better for Todd uh, to join in
Mhm.
their adventures. So he kept pushing, kept pushing, kept pushing,
Mhm.
and sure, eventually Todd became more receptive. Even though you don't even really see that, right? You kind of just only realize when Todd's at the very end and He
Mhm.
does something that is a bit more out of character, but
Mhm.
yeah. But no, I agree. You need your friends to bring you out of your comfort zone. You need to be out of your comfort zone to, yeah, try before you decide you hate it. What's it? Try before you knock it, knock before you try it. I can't remember
Don't
what the
knock it
sayings are.
unless you try it.
Yes. Ugh, stupid sayings.
Okay. Another theme, I guess the more heavy one was the rebellion, right? The consequences of going against what society has for you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that? Interesting. On my way home today, I saw someone having like throwing a fit and he got arrested and I saw that happen live. But I don't know. I couldn't make out what he was saying because I think it was like half Dutch, half English. But it I just now thought of that because maybe that was his way of rebelling against societal standards, and his consequence for that was getting arrested, or someone
Mm.
called the police on him, and then him getting arrested. Obviously, not that extreme, but what do you think about the way the movie handled the consequence of rebellion? Because it was also quite,
Prominent.
yeah.
Do you know how people always say like, "This is the hill I'll die on,"
Mm-hmm.
etc. I think it goes back to this whole thing about the bone in the marrow. There's a right way of going about it.
Mm-hmm.
Choose the right heel, man. Don't die for anything. Die with the cause. Die with a cause you think is worth dying for, and don't just blindly commit to your
You think
latest
Neil
thinking.
died for a course
Absolutely.
worth dying for?
Absolutely.
A cause, of course.
I think we're in a position to understand him the most and than we'll ever be because, when you're that old and you hear that your father and your entire support system basically wants you to study for another 10 years, and he said that
Mm-hmm.
it was like a life sentence, and when he said that I was like, whoa, that's
Yeah.
pretty true. And it's not gonna just end after these 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And also, even if it did, it's 10 years, so yeah, it made sense what he did. I don't think it will make sense to, I don't know, my parents who watch it, and I think that was the purpose of this movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is what happens, and I don't know, this movie went too much for breadth rather than depth. You
Mm-hmm.
didn't get to see what this acting meant to him more because it came up a little bit unexpectedly when he suddenly came back to the dorm one day and be like, "I want to be an actor." I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Whoa, okay, nothing about you indicated that, but sure, let's roll with it." And then he died for it, and it was like, "Okay, whoa. Hopefully, this wasn't the new wave of interest you have for this one thing that might pass in a few years or something."
Mm-hmm.
Assuming this is something that was
Right.
worth dying for.
Yeah, 'cause how do you know if it's a thing or if it's a phase?
Yeah,
One of the codes that I think foreshadowed his eventual death was in your first meeting of the Dead Poet Society. They read the
that
first
part of
page of the
yeah,
book, and he said, and it reads, "I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not when I came to die to discover that I had not lived." So basically, my interpretation is that like this his outlet, or Mr. Keating, when he wrote this, his outlet was going to the woods and learning about poetry from all these poets that came before him,
yeah,
and to kind of see if there are lessons in that that he could learn, so that when it's his day to die, he doesn't have any regrets,
right,
kind of
right,
in that ballpark. And I guess in his final moments, Neil had realized that if he had to go on and live out his prison sentence of 10
yeah,
more years in medical school or law school or whatever, that he knew already in his heart of hearts that he it would not be a life worth living, or
yeah.
that he would have regrets. Then yeah, it wasn't a life worth living, so he ended up doing what he did. I understand that, but also I feel like in reality that probably won't happen. Like, say he finished school and went to college and started doing what his dad. I feel like a lot of people end up dropping out and doing something else, or in college, kind of develop a passion for the thing where that they were so strongly against, or even finish that and then once you're done, I guess pleasing someone else, their parents, they end up
Right.
doing something that they want to do themselves. It's not a nice thing, obviously, living someone else's life to the end until you can live your life. That's a lot of wasted years. But I do think that's something that happens more frequently than self-harm.
Dying because you think you can't go on this life anymore.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't know, this is kind of a difficult topic because I don't know, I wanna ask a question, but it's such an
Ask it.
insensitive
Do
question.
it. Go for
Like,
it.
could you see yourself in this situation? In Neil's
I
situation?
could definitely see myself in this situation, but I decided a very long time ago that suicide is one of the most selfish things you could do.
Mm,
And I've got this whole relationship with being selfish that most of my life I thought it was wrong.
mhm,
Now I realize there is a right way of going about it, but and the ultimate selfish thing I could do, the ultimate thing you could do for yourself is to die for yourself.
mm,
But God, it doesn't only cost you, it costs the countless of
mm.
lives around you as well.
Even if in his situation where it kinda seemed like his parents didn't care about his life and just
Yeah.
wanted to live vicariously through him.
Yeah. Because, I'm sure the first thing that's on their parents' mind would be if only they knew that this would happen,
Mm,
something would have changed. They wouldn't like stick to their guns, and be like this. And
yeah. I don't know. I personally, mm, I don't know. It's weird.
it's weird. Is there anything you would die for?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't think I have something that I'm so strongly passionate about that if me not being able to do it means I wouldn't be
Yeah.
living
It's
a
life
life for
not worth
myself,
living.
yeah.
Yeah.
Unless like it would have to be like the opposite of what I am right now. Like if I had to, but even then, I would, yeah, it would be kind of selfish if we're say like something were to happen where I wasn't able to continue the path that I am on now, and I had to do something completely different that I didn't enjoy one bit. Say like for some reason I now had to become a historian. I don't think I would kill myself because I can't. I think I'd kind of try to go into it with an open
Mm.
mind. Again, I can't understand how Neil felt like. Maybe it was just that strong of a hate for law school or
I think it's medical school. Yeah.
medical school, to like I'd rather die than do this. I really can't think of something in that situation. But the whole idea of rebellion and having a consequence, I think death being the consequence of rebellion, obviously it's a harsh extreme,
Mm.
but it does say something about like how I guess trapped you feel you can feel being like just a tiny cog in this 8 billion in size machine. Like, yeah. If I'm so insignificant, why is it so important that I do this, you know?
Mm.
And from then I can see, okay, yeah, it would be a very tough life to live. knowing that I step out of line and yeah.
Maybe that was part of this whole lesson on in the complete opposite way is that there's more to life than this thing you're doing, even if it's the thing you're doing.
Mm,
You know, like you could have a very fulfilling life outside of work, which I guess sort of takes away the pressure of you wondering if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, right?
mhm,
Like you could, yeah, let's say romance, you could have the most loving partner waiting for you at the end of your day that you hate with the most loving family, etc. Or, you know, getting to meet your friends and things like that.
mhm.
So I don't know.
What would you do if you were Mr. Keating
If
and
I was,
your teachings you realize your teachings had eventually led to the untimely demise of one of your students?
I don't know, if I was him, I'd probably be kind of proud because I don't know, he died for the cause he thought it was worth dying for. And that, you know, when he died,
Interesting.
when Neil died, he didn't die with a regret. He did, he starred in the play, he pulled
Mm.
off an excellent performance, and he believed that this was what he wanted to die in, yeah?
You know what's cool? Fun fact:
What?
I played Puck
You played Puck?
in middle
What?
school. Yeah, in 8th grade, we did a Midsummer's Night's Dream, and I was Puck.
Are you good?
I don't know, like because I was in British school, and
Yeah.
apparently, I don't know, some Shakespeare group had come to visit, and they wanted to organize a play. But it wasn't like the full Midsummer's Night. It was like a short rendition.
Yeah.
We had like I think a weekend to
Oh
like
boy,
learn
okay.
our lines and everything. And I was Puck. I was Puck,
Did you
and
enjoy being Puck?
yeah, I think it was the only time in my short-lived theater career that I had a significant role. Because every other one that I did was a musical, and I was not the best singer. But that was just lines and saying it with varying tones, and I think I probably just got it because I was one of the native English speakers. This was when I was in China, so there were either people who had English as second language or just weren't that interested. So I guess easy win for me. Yeah. Anyways,
What a day
um,
for filming.
yeah. Um, what were you talking about? Being Mr. Keating.
Yeah.
I think I'd feel guilty. And I think that's how he felt until Todd was like, "It's not your fault,"
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Because yeah, you want people to be free. Like if say I don't know, I had a son and I had taught my son to be a free thinker, but let's say I was divorced from this is so random. I'm thinking of it on the spot. But I was divorced from my wife and he lived more with my wife than me. And so his mom was so adamant on him becoming an engineer to not end up like me, a deadbeat dad. But I'm trying to teach him to be a free thinker, so much so to the point that because his mom won't allow him to do anything artistic, he ends up, you know,
Mhm.
I I would feel very guilty because yes, be a free thinker, but like you said, don't choke on the bone. Don't be so blinded by the short term pleasure of sucking on the marrow of life in moderation.
Do you think Neil misinterpreted Mr. Keating to some extent? Because I feel like the way out of both these situations is to know that there are more options, and
Mhm.
you know, death is
Definitely.
not
Yeah.
the only way to go, or the most honorable. Definitely not.
Never. I do think there was a misinterpretation because I don't think the lesson of the movie would be to kill yourself
Yeah.
if you don't get your way, you know? Such is life. I'm sure, yeah, there's definitely more things to do. The overarching theme is to just think a little bit more freely. I think a little bit more for yourself. I think we've talked about this before. We're in this stage of life where you start realizing that you kind of need to start thinking for yourself, and that
Yeah.
you've been living your parents' life a little bit
Yeah.
throughout
Go
growing up.
throwback. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you will only feel more fulfilled once you start thinking for yourself. Even if what you end up decide I said this, oh my god, exactly before, but even if what you end up thinking for yourself aligns with what your parents want, at
Hmm.
least you still thought for yourself.
Hmm.
I've not made much progress on that. I hope you have.
Um, I know. I mean, okay. What I have done is I've stopped consulting my parents as much on a handful of things than I used to, for the better or for the worse. But yeah, I think even if it ends up being a mistake, I think there's a little bit pride, or like a little bit of a redeeming aspect of the
Mm,
fact that it was your mistake, right?
right.
So yeah, you don't have to be a poet, I think, but just having a creative outlet.
Have a cathartic outlet.
What does that mean?
Um, one where it feels like you're there's a very nice definition to this word. I'll try to explain it though.
Mm.
Uh, that you feel like you've released everything, you've let
Mm,
everything go.
yeah.
You
Okay.
feel set free.
Yeah, I guess
Some
that's
people,
more.
like screaming for some people is cathartic. Probably sports
That's more
for some
general.
people is
Yeah.
cathartic. Yeah, some songs are. I don't know. Yeah, what's your cathartic outlet? Like,
Hmm.
please don't say gym.
No. I mean, yeah. Okay. Gym. This is something for another time. But I do think like just the barbaric aspect of just you lift X amount of weight,
Mhm.
you see X amount of progress. Just the simplicity in that compared to like the everyday
Yeah,
complexities of life. It's comforting.
yeah.
Um so in a way, yeah, that can definitely be whatever you said. But hmm right now it would have to be movies. But even that sounds kind of boring. Maybe I should
That
have
gives you
something
relief. I
fun.
don't know. You'll seem just like slow releasing relief, which is also fine.
Yeah, I don't think I have
That's
like
good.
a burst, yeah,
Yeah, but that also
type
probably
of
means you don't
activity.
really have like pent up.
Oh, I do. I think okay, when it's pent up, I just
Yeah.
write.
Oh,
Yeah.
what?
Not like write something so abstractly, creatively divine.
Hmm.
I just write to like I express it through my writing.
Yeah,
So I'm not gonna write a story,
yeah.
or if I do, it'll be like just me being the character and what happened. That's what I do. Yeah, I guess.
Cathartic writing is usually very, very good writing.
Um, but what I do want to get into, and I already talked about this, but actually I really do want to start recording stuff. I don't know what. That's the thing. I was already working on something, but the creative vision isn't aligned right now. I think I need a lot more shots, and I think I want to do something completely different. I want it to be original, and that's so difficult. So I just gave up. Yeah, it's something that I started like last winter, and I haven't been able to finish. But there is fun in thinking about it. So, uh, that's me. Anyways, if you haven't watched that, what did you rate the movie? I think I gave it like a three
I think
stars,
I gave
maybe
it
two and a half.
3. I was thinking 2.5, but just because it made me feel angry at the
Mm.
end, I gave it a 3.
It's in my top 20 right now, but I haven't watched
Yeah, I gave it a 3.
enough profound movies, I think, to. I think if I watch more movies, it'll fall out eventually.
Mm.
Right now, it is sandwiched between. It is sandwiched between. Ooh, I don't know about this. Challengers and Shawshank Redemption.